Hey everyone, welcome back to the Corvids and Coffee podcast. My name's Liz,
And I'm Tori.
and we're hosting episode 14, where we'll be talking about the Pixar's new series Win or Lose, which we just started watching today, and we watched the first episode, which we're gonna analyze.
And most of you have probably seen snips of it.
Oh yeah, I've watched like
Popular on TikTok.
it's
Like, I
their
never started watching it.
their Instagram. I've been watching a lot of it on YouTube Shorts. Do you ever watch so many that you feel like you've watched the whole show already?
Yeah, that's how I felt before we
Yeah.
watched the first episode today.
Like I watched it, and it was just like we've seen most of the clips.
But I am interested to watch the rest of the show, which we will get into.
Oh yeah, we have to do.
Probably seen this cute animated thing.
Yeah.
It looks like what's the name of that show? Is that it?
Oh, the movie Luca.
The movie Luca,
which
It
was
sounds
so
like
good.
The animation of Luca. I wonder if it's the same producers.
I think it is. Well, that one's also Pixar. It might be the same producers. I'm trying to think who worked on the show. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, while we're doing our intro, we'll do the facts to start it off with. So, Tori, do you want to read the coffee fact or the bird fact?
I'll do the coffee fact.
Sounds
Did you know that coffee is actually a fruit? The coffee bean is a seed of the coffee cherry.
Ooh,
Cherry.
coffee cherry.
I didn't know that. It's
Yeah, I
often
know.
called a stone fruit. I didn't know.
Ooh.
I mean, honestly, I don't know too much about coffee, but maybe in the
see, like-
future we'll do a coffee exclusive episode.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Because I don't really know anything about it.
We should do one in when we do a trip to Acadia, Maine, because there's a really good coffee place going up there.
Yeah.
Who's calling?
I don't know. So.
Okay, Tori's gonna text, so I'm gonna get into the bird fact. But yeah, we'll have to do a deep dive into coffee. So, bird fact: did you know that parrots can live up to 50 years or more? Some species, like the macaw, can even live up to 80 years, and making them one of the longest living birds. Kind of reminds me of those tortoises from macaw, because like one of the parrots, like the macaw. It's like the macaw, but they can live up to 80 years. And it's kind of reminds me of those Galapagos tortoises that like live like 100 years or more. And actually, it's funny because when we did our little like department get together for my department for work, one of my coworkers was telling me about one of their family members has a parrot that's like lived with him forever. Like it was around when he was a teenager, and he said that
Do you plan on like having that pet for like
it's like
the next 2 decades?
Well, the way they described it was that it's like not a hand-me-down. It's a family heirloom. But the thing is, this parrot would swear at anybody except the like I think his like grandfather or something or his uncle, and the original owner. And he's just like, I can't have it because it'd be swearing around my kid. And it'd be like also it's like that's such a lifelong commitment. Like that thing's probably gonna live for another 40 years or more.
Pretty sure they get very to like certain people,
like bond kind of like
and then if those people like die before them, it's like sad.
I bet they definitely go through a grieving period.
Not difficult, but like particular pets to have.
Well, yeah, you have to. I feel like there's got to be a certain. You have to plan around it. You know,
Yeah.
It's like it's like when you have a reptile and stuff, and you have to like get them certain foods.
2 bearded dragons.
Oh my god! What are the names?
One named Chicken Nugget.
Chicken Nugget.
The library.
Oh my god, he should have glasses.
Apparently, one of the programs in our school just got a baby one.
Wait, how small are
And
they?
its name is Cargo. Which is kind of a cute name.
Cargo.
And it's a baby one. But it was funny because I was talking to someone recently on a PD day, and I found out we had 2, and they were like, you need to socialize them. If you don't socialize them,
So
they become very mean.
Does Cargo?
We're in a socialized Cargo and Chicken Nugget.
Chicken
Now
Nugget.
Cargo's too small because Cargo's a baby, so they have to wait.
I wonder how small they are because they get pretty big, and it's kind of funny. They have ear holes, not really ears.
Yeah, it was funny. The person told me like I didn't expect them to have like. They're like, okay.
Well, you know what's funny? They pass out when they like when they get too cold. Well, that guy had like loaded up a bunch of iguanas, like thought something was wrong, so he loaded them up into his car, only for them to wake up like a second later. And can you imagine them swarming? Well, they do. Well, yeah, they're like when it gets to a certain temperature, probably, but they kind of go into a hibernation mode, almost like kind of reminds me of like fainting goats when they like, or the goats when they faint, kind of thing. Oh, you should see. That's funny. But yeah, so we're gonna dive into it on episode 1 for the Coach's Kid for Pixar's Win or Lose, and discuss themes revolving around self-doubt, stress, overthinking, and coping. And I'm gonna share a personal story how I've kind of dealt with those things. But it will help you kind of explore those things and learn how to better deal with it. And this episode, I think, definitely really hit that. It's a deep episode.
This episode was really good. Honestly, so I was saying before we watched it, I was like, "Is this a kid show?" And I was because it's a Pixar animated.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this made for kids or adults? Because it's pretty not heavy, but like it is very like specific what I'm talking about.
It hits you hard though.
Self doubt, confidence. I think things that kids face, but it's funny because I'm like, this is more, in my opinion, like for adults almost because it's like you see them facing these challenges that like is not like grown up, but everybody I guess faces. So I think that this could be for anybody, honestly, the show because it's not just for.
Oh yeah,
it's really cute actually too.
I think it also
like give a little summary of what the show is about.
Yeah, so it revolves around a middle school baseball team called the Pickles, which also just love the name. Also, they're like the little pickles on their uniform. It's funny. So it revolves around like the kids in a few of the players in that team, their coach, some of the parents, and even the umpire. I think his name's Blue, and revolves around like what they're struggling with, and it's all within like the timeline of a week before their championship game. So it kind of just goes back. It's like the same scenario, but of everything, the events, but it's all from like it'll go back to like one kid's point of view and then like another character's point of view.
Character story.
But this one focuses around Laurie, which is the coach's kid, which I feel like that is a really difficult position to be in. Like we did softball together in middle school. Tori continued in high school, but there was a kid on the team that was the coach's kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine like that's kind of hard when your dad's the coach, but like also like they can't be like give you they can't they can't play favorites because of that, but also it's like they need to treat you as one of the team members. And this one's kind of like I feel like it's hard for Laurie's character particularly because dad really doesn't treat her or doesn't really pay attention as much to her. I feel like it's kind of
it's just also that this show also kind of, which is funny watching it as an adult, is like shows you different perspectives as a kid and like how, because like obviously for kids things are like the end of the world always for them.
Oh, it's like
much more unfortunate. And it's funny because then if you're an adult or even like an early adult, like I guess kind of us, you're like thinking about like, oh, I remember when I was like doing that or doing something similar, and then
it felt like everything was ending.
The whole world was didn't hit the goal in that one game, and like watch.
Well, you overthink it so much.
You're like, oh man, kids really do pressure on themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so Laurie is the daughter of the coach, and she's not very good. Which is again, I think it's just a realistic theme. Like sometimes you suck at something that you think you're really good at.
Well, yeah, and then it's the pressure too.
Something, and then that's where that thinking and self doubt come in. Yeah. And for Laurie, it was a little ball of sweat.
Oh yeah, Sweaty. We saw it, and it was Sweat. Its name is Sweaty. And he's just like, he's symbolic. He kind of looks like Sweaty Clay.
Yeah, he looks like a little piece of clay, but he's supposed to be a ball of sweat, which represents her self doubt and her I don't know,
like stress. It's kind of like a culmination of everything, like when you're overthinking stuff, and it's a multitude of things. Like it could be stress, anxiety.
He's like a little small, and then
it's a baggage.
He's crushing,
and just like weight.
You know what I thought of when we watched the show? I also thought of what's it called? Red Panda.
No, I still have to watch that. It's called Turning Red. I still have to watch it, but I also watch a lot of it.
Yeah. Part of Turning Red, I didn't watch the thing.
Oh, we should watch that.
Turning Red, I think, is a very similar idea, which I really like that Pixar does this kind of thing now, because it's like
it's kind of
not just for adults, it's also for for kids, it's also for like anybody, but also it's like kind of portraying these feelings in like a more obvious way for kids to see. Yeah. So, like, maybe some kid who's watching, what is this called again?
Win or Lose.
Win or Lose or whatever, can kind of think about whatever their situation they're in. That they're
it's very relatable. And
they have, like, some pressure on them to do well.
Yeah. And this is a good example of it. Like, just kind of, like, it feels like, because it's kind of funny when you look at it from an outside perspective, you're like, especially when you pass, like, parks and stuff and you see, like, baseball games for kids, football games for kids, you're just kind of like, oh, just for fun, extracurricular activity. But when you're a kid on that team and there's so much, like you feel like there's a lot of expectations, which there are, like it feels like it weighs down on you.
People on the team who are better than her, obviously, which is like another thing that's normal in life. And her dad, coach, gives them like more attention, is worried about them perceiving to be worried.
Gives them like the little star stickers, the infamous like high five where you want the high five, and then she like literally high fives herself, and it's just like. And I felt so sad watching that because I'm just like. Yeah, it's just it's so it makes you feel like I could imagine just how small Laurie feels like in that moment when like when you're not like excelling at something. It's a lot of like doubting like if you're even good at all. And she's even asked her dad towards the end of the episode like, am I good enough? Yeah. And it's kids can be
tied into your whole identity.
Well, yeah, and you're like that's like everything for her.
one thing that maybe you work really hard at, and you feel like your whole identity is that one thing.
But I also feel like she clings to it because her parents are divorced in the show, and I'm sure. I mean, our parents are divorced, but I've met people with divorced parents, and it can feel like, especially if the parents don't handle the situation like in a way that's neutral for their kid, because that's such a big impact on their life.
Yeah, they mentioned challenges in the
Yeah.
first episode. Talking.
Yeah, but it's just like you could probably imagine that she's throwing everything into this because she also wants like a really good relationship with her dad and wants to be close, and also like wants to like share into the interest, like his interest probably too, which is what it started out as, and wants to like spend that time bonding with him. It's kind of sad when it's just like he kind of doesn't see it that way, but then again, you can probably get wrapped up to it yourself, like as an adult, if you get into like something you're passionate about, you kind of like don't see everything else off on the sidelines, and I feel like that's might be what happened with him. But yeah, let me share going through the outline notes. So yeah, for a personal story, recently for like I would say like a couple weeks, but mainly like a 2 week span where it got really bad, where I was overthinking a lot of stuff. I was stressed with work, a lot of life stuff going on, some issues I was dealing with that it kind of led me to not eat as much. Like I think I was eating maybe like 1 to 2 meals a day, and my brain would just like not stop. It would just like be nonstop running with thoughts. And I don't think it had ever gotten like this bad before. So I feel like though at this age, um, I'm sure you feel this way too, Tori, like gotten more self-aware like when issues kind of come up, that you're just like, okay, like let me like slow down for a second. Like it's just like this, it's like you can pinpoint down more of what's kind of affecting you. And I had to like kind of take a step back and be like, okay, like even if I'm feel like I'm nonstop working, like I need to take a break or walk away, do something, or took a bathroom break, or just like something like that, do something relaxing on my lunch break, even after work, like making the time to do something fun. Like I'm reading the Beastar mangas again. I'm gonna catch up on the last few volumes. Like I've been doing that recently. Trying to plan more friend time. Did that recently with a friend of mine, Lena, and we went to Barnes and Nobles. That was a fun one. And just kind of being able to catch up and kind of pull myself away from like the usual everyday routine, which has been helping me. And getting better sleep has been a big thing because I dealt with insomnia with us growing up, and it kind of came back now with like when I was stressed, and I think that definitely plays a lot into it. Oh yeah, like you just like you can't turn off your brain, and it's just like, and then or I feel like it kind of stresses you out so much, you're so wound up so tight that like you can't relax, and that's a big thing with sleeping. You need to be able to relax. But I was able to kind of overcome this by talking with people, especially Tori. Like you're one of my confidants, and I talked to you about it. I talked to mom and dad about it, and like Monica about it, and just like kind of getting more perspectives, talking to my friends, and it helps a lot. Kind of getting off your plate. Like it doesn't. It's like with Sweaty in that scene with like when everything's culminating into this big moment, and they're at the championship game, and Laurie gets like so overcome by Sweaty, like Sweaty becomes this huge, massive thing, and the dad's like, "Hey, this is
She
no,
was like,
yeah,
she was like just trying to like figure it out on her own, really.
like she's keeping it all up inside."
Yeah, and then like it comes to the game, the thing that she actually cares about, and she has like that whole weight that was like crushing, literally just crushing her.
Yeah, he was just like, he was even like, "Where's your head at?" And it's like, "Where are you?" It's like, and Sweaty's like, "I'm right here," and it's like this giant mountain of just like stress and insecurities and everything. And then he's just like, "Hey, it's all coming together. Like this is supposed to be for fun. Like it was never about you being the best. It was always about you just trying your best and having a good time." And I think having that reassurance helped her kind of put it down more to a manageable size, because you never get rid of those feelings there, but you can manage them into a smaller thing, which is easier to carry. Like it's not, you don't feel like Atlas holding up the whole world.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, so we talked about a bit of the cycle of self-doubt with just like stress, overthinking, inaction, and just like it amplifies everything and makes it feel so like crazy. Especially with, I feel like when you're a kid, when you have embarrassing moments, like it feels like this such an overwhelming thing. Like it just like everything's ending. You're like, oh, like say you like your voice cracks or something like that, or you trip and you think, oh my god, everyone's eyes are on me. But like as you get older, what if you do that stuff, you kind of just laugh it off. You're like, it's whatever. And it feels it's because you can minimize those things more, and kind of looking at like nobody really cares like what you're doing as you get older. Oh, worst time of your life.
That one's job for
Oh, I bet they do their research on this, and I think a lot of the animators and people that work on this, like on Pixar, they have kids around those ages, and I think they take a lot of that from like personal experiences to kind of build this up, which they did with Inside Out, which took them like 10 years to make the sequel, but it was worth it though, which we'll have to talk about that at some point. Um, but yeah, so I would say like definitely for kids that are dealing with this, or for even like as an adult when dealing with these issues, like I would say talking about it helps immensely because it's a lot to carry on your own, especially if you're someone that like lives by themselves or doesn't really have people nearby you can talk to. Like you should be able to talk to or just call up like friends, family, or somebody that you can trust with this, like a really good confidant to just regain perspective and just kind of help you see the big picture. Like it's just like, this isn't life ending, and it's just like you do need to take breaks. It reminds you that you need to avoid like that burnout. And kids can get burnout too. Like, you put all these expectations on them when it's just like, they should be enjoying life too. Because it does get busier when you're an adult and you have to learn how to figure it all out. But it's like there's no such thing as being perfect, which I think a lot of kids think like, oh, everyone, this person has it all together, this person has it all together. Like that's what Laurie thought in the show, like with Kai, who was like on a roll with everything with the game, and thought, oh, she's like the perfect player, the perfect person. I wish I could be like that so I could have a closer bond with like the team and actually be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I'd say definitely it's all about self-care and like taking the time to have fun and to do something that it's like not just to keep like kind of overexerting yourself trying to maintain a perfect image because there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the show and see
Oh yeah,
because there's other characters I think who face very similar challenges as Laurie too.
oh definitely. So yeah, I would say let's talk about kind of the final thoughts on this. But what did you think, like watching the first episode? Because this is, I think, Pixar's first like series, kind of doing something like this, like doing an actual show. Yeah, that's what I thought when I was seeing all the clips, and then I saw more research on this, and I was just like, oh wow, it's just like, um, it was just, yeah, it was just I didn't realize it because especially the budget. I hope they do.
Shows Pixar's done so far. I think they've done some other ones. Do you know some of the other ones off the top of your head?
For shows and like or movies.
No, shows. It's kind of different.
I'm trying to think. I don't think they've done other shows. They have done like shorts and stuff before. But they did yeah, but they've done like a lot of movies.
Spin-offs of like on other shows that they've done, like on other movies, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, actually no, they do have another show that came out.
Inside Out.
Inside Out did one.
Inside Out the production.
Yeah, it's the yeah, Dream Productions, because I saw clips for that and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, and they still kept the same quality, which I always thought like this has got to be a big production. It's definitely easier now to kind of get the animation style they want without it being a struggle or a bigger struggle than it was before. So it's amazing seeing that they can put this in a show, and they already have a season out. We should watch that at some point.
You know, we should put the Monsters at Work.
Oh yeah,
they did a couple seasons. I think that Pixar wants to continue with some of these stories, which I like.
they should because it's really amazing quality.
Oh, well, they already made the other Inside Out. Was the Inside Out the second one called?
Wait, let me look it up because it was Inside Out 2, and it's when
That was called something else.
no, just Inside Out 2, and it's kind of the next phase in Riley's life with dealing with more complex emotions, which we should definitely talk about that. That would be really good. So it's kind of like going from like, especially when you get older, like there's more complexities to who you are as a person and like kind of what you deal with. And I feel like that would be a good explore it, which I hope they do a season 2 on Win or Lose once we finish the first season, because
yeah,
I feel like there could be more, like not just outside, even outside the Pickles, baseball team.
Yeah. What's her friend's name?
Oh, Rochelle.
Rochelle's like mom. Like I feel like I always see like
yeah.
Rochelle's mom, and she's an
character everywhere.
That's interesting because she's an adult character. They show a little bit more about her and her problems.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see about that.
Yeah, because and also kind of like those dynamics with some parents that kind of want to be like relatable to their kids, but also want to be kind of like a best friend. Oh, that would be really good. But yeah, we should definitely watch that one. But if we'll definitely be doing more episodes on it. I'd like to do an episode on Elemental at some point because I love that movie. Like, I think there's a really good cinematherapy episode on it, like on kind of like Wade versus like Ember and like how they deal with stuff, like being very emotionally vulnerable, being okay with it, like learning to express your feelings.
Side note.
No, go ahead. Sidebar.
Kind of based on Romeo and Juliet in a way.
Yeah, I would say so because well, it's like fire and water can't mix, and they still take into account like that scientific part of like how the elements interact, which also another great detail from Pixar doing their research. But it's just and how it sort of relates to like how people in society, like there's prejudices against certain type of people, and they take that in the case of like, oh well, fire is like dangerous and bad, and like kind of being like, oh, like it's like you could cause issues for other elements and blah blah blah, like sort of like almost like racism in a way, like or prejudice against certain types of people, or like just because of what they are. Yeah.
Also, Turning Red would be another good show.
Oh my god, I gotta watch that. I want to get that for the DVD collection. There's so many things. I know, but I like DVDs. I like collections. Man,
for next time, we'll continue to explore this area more. I think of like mental health, but also specifically with like kids more in a way, and like resources that are now out there that I think didn't really exist when we were kids.
No, it's definitely got a lot better.
It's like the perception of problems that kids face.
I feel like it faces more head on now, and it's kind of being like, there's okay to make mistakes. Oh, definitely.
I mean, also things.
Yeah, and also Inside Out, like, oh, it's a tearjerker.
So yeah.
Plus, Pixar just knows how to tug at the heartstrings with full force. Oh, that one's so good. But yeah, so
some things we'll continue to talk about.
Exactly. So stay tuned, and we invite you to share your own stories on how you cope with self-doubt and stress and these feelings and struggles. But until next time, stay tuned, guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day.